Ebusiafo ne adofo ye ba monyina akwa abakese eba HITV so dwumedi a ya to ne din se time with Tatapsen so na nda nwumre mi ne eba betwetwe nkoma na afedi ye bobo ho ye hu kwan a ye besifa ede nsempa no abra adofo ewo wiase afa na nyina sabre bebia wo bia ho nche kese pa na mede bro no misra wo se wo Ghana na je se ho nche na mede bro no bebia wo bia ahwefo ne adofo mechia mo kese so pa sabre wo hwe mi amesra wo share link de ma wo busuafo ne wadofo nyina na afidi omo nyina be share nso ne di nkomo ye hwe kwan a ye befa so ne yetimi promote ye ho ne yesa so etimi asset ya business e wo Ghana abra yesikasem eso anase yesikasem kra enkoye nti no eno ho nkomo ne ba betwetwe ene no fra onwa na onwa so enfre ne nua before ye be wie dwumede ne be so dwumede ne so no ye be bo topic a ye be treating next week so actually adofo ne obi biara edi ameje so eye PK Ofori-Asenso me me producer director na Lord na kwesi wide out and also no A class and a de dwumede yi in enwumre na tese o mo no mo gina fidi ne chia mo miam ya fidi ne fruma e me etimi de dwumede ebra wo abobo ano kama sana esi etie come sabre ye be call na fidi akwaje aboafo nkrato kakra na dia abramo na ne ho bia ne da to aso Philgood services says all mental health speaker and as educator bia no be di nkomo concern mental health ye nyina gitum say eba adwenemo pomodin dia ya de a ekoso pa eneye mrem esa so die na pa antimisro hweromecha kwan ewo philgoodservices@gmail.com osaso says if adweneno ebe ba form na bibia akoso kama ewo bia de uti beto no so eka ho bi the sentin se wo ko Ghana and asa wo Ghana na pa bia obetimi de uti ato na home away from home na wakọ jojo ho a feel good homes and American for ma any wadofo nyina from ewo 513-372-5758 and I say +233-208-149-504 almost also esi adan sabe krapo the new houses be on their background no there to say do twem efe kama the first number 513-372-5758 no no mo no enco terms and conditions in there very good and then say located at East Legon Hills not just say krom kama or proximity to airport is to say very close. It's from one after the end ending kita or cause CPK next month. Not discount to be a will be a uchimum same number for discount in the summer. Become for Oswald Waters LLC so the amount a way more Ohio any Maryland about the Sonkwa and every ebo was all imported one of the betimi from na ope say be a primary care manager and I say be a IV hydration almost IV hydration weight management just say betimi abo ama was so at kama botox this animal nyina kama from 513-268-2740 na after new muding town. Ne toso bia me yemwa ba Millicent Owusu essay obese okun financial ignorance ewo America ham say titiro ye before yemu entino concerning say bia income protection college fund and I say bia life insurance crampa a bit me abo e bi for dodo na any life insurance sebe say ya wo ya ba asase so kwa de ye den owu eka ya brabo ayetu ewo wi asem no obiambroni be say death inevitable intino or so timi bomodin na otimi etoato woni emaye sen ochine bi uni hon na mbanya dadwin ema ebusuafo no madam for be the council senche bia say ebusuani bi wa no say ya ma no so ne na kokoshe form na ye sen no because e kakra wom sen nipa ne call dancer or tia asimple intino toto wana moye na fede free nyaba Millicent on 937-321-2270 enkolan dachi ho hia omo college fund ho hia na fede ontimi mwa na set up educational fund no and our life insurance na bibia enkoso kama ebusuan for Tatapsen papa no ope kwa betima fa so aseniska kofi na bibia bekoso kama na afedie onti ohabia anase bibisa misraw safe secured fast and are very convenient into no Tatapsen send the dinti na obo sika de share ma body pan de share mo mi asend and echo tap send and one no called Google Play Store. Now if you download the app and that's our app store. Or download the app now for promo code in PK P-KAY. Then you have $15 on your first transaction. More muguzu air no me saso kamubium say promotion no. Me a personal promotion our hostel. Or send it for the first time. Send a screenshot to mommy. On top of $15 no. Mesa so acha wa mo botto baako Jasmine mo botto we de nye to Jimmy mesraw na afi de wetu etimi e de atwa wonim spedede sabre ye be call ne akokoji some quick commercial break bi aba and as a quick video bi buy na afi de ye introduce ye guest na ye ne babedi enkomo in the no in the topic no mami reiterate in the topic no na afi de yenko en o say entrepreneurship. I'm broke but I want to start my own business in Ghana. Topic I never be discussed. No, for you and I'm your super new. Was your for you about you train about Sima.
I was at one, your friend Carla boss, the only boss with what is. Do you know about TapTapSend? TapTapSend is one of the easiest, convenient, reliable money transfer app you can get. You can download TapTapSend on Google Play Store or App Store. We download it and then you register. Register and you are good to go to send money across every place, many countries in the world. TapTapSend. Why wouldn't that happen?
Ebusia for them as say moje sima ama moje brema yetime kodane ye ho sima eba ye sabre ye be introduce your guest any neighbor bedu dwuma ye guest any neighbor bedu dwuma no na say we first two commercials na ye na I feel good services not just on mental health educator no no also na feel good homes or also ye entrepreneur obusan so e na ono entrepreneur into sabre any Dr. Phil any neighbor bedu dwuma Phil ye ma akwa baba adwumadi so.
Yeah, thank you very much, PK. And I want to also take this opportunity to welcome everyone to today's show. Our sister, I think the name is pronounced Alette. We welcome you. We understand.
Obi requested for English.
Right.
Okay, well, the way you started with English. Okay, no problem. Then I guess we'll switch it over there. So this was just an introduction to introduce our guest to you. At this point, we're gonna call upon. And if today's your first time, let me go ahead and explain our terrain so that you understand. What we do is we do our commercial aspect. After that, we do introduction, not introduction, hearing updates from TapTapSend. After we introduce our guest, then TapTapSend will give us updates, and after that, our guest will give us the presentation or the interactions that we have today. Then right after that, we will go into the Q&A session for TapTapSend. So this is the educative part of Time with TapTapSend, right? Then after that, we do a Q&A session where people ask questions concerning their apps, issues that they have, any good contributions and stuff like that. So again, I didn't get the memo that somebody has put in, but when Phil started speaking English, I realized the memo has gotten to it to him. So thank you guys very much. I mean, we do this because of you guys. So when the request comes, we're always going to put it in to make it a switch up. So Phil, thank you very much for coming on the show. And we just wanted to introduce you to our viewers. At this point, we're going to ask A-Class to give us updates from TapTapSend whilst we talk about good and updates from TapTapSend.
I was for Wamuna Wadro about Time with TapTapSend, and we welcome everyone to this novel platform. It's been a pleasure to see you once again. 7 days has gone past. All right, update from TapTapSend. I'm super happy and excited for today, and that would be that just to let everybody know that one, we've introduced some new countries that are available at the moment, that if you have family and friends or reside in those areas, they can send money from as well. Typical one would be the Australia country that we alerted you guys on last time. Australia, Croatia, Czech Republic, and Finland. Somebody may ask, hey, do you have Ghanaians in those countries? Yep, it will be up. We have Ghanaians in those countries, and some people have started making transactions from those countries. So if you have any family and friends there, please alert them to download the app. And also, I'm superly glad to also let the house know that Togo and Liberia are live. It looks like some people still are not aware that Liberia is live on the app. So if you're in America, you can send money from America to Liberia, or from America to Togo as well. Likewise, anywhere you find yourself that the Tatasen operate, you can send money to those countries as well. So I'm superly excited with these new updates that they've added onto the system as well. And also just to extend a warm thank you to all those who join us from the Europe as well, Europe and UK. Our dear brother John, Lizzie, Uncle Sam, and Naomi, and the rest. Well, thank you very much for coming. And I'm super glad and hope to hear. Because I don't have coins, so I'll listen carefully, sit at the back, and see how best one can invest in Ghana without not having any money. Thank you very much, PK.
Thank you, Class, for the update from Startup Sense, and please be mindful of the places that have been activated so that you can let your loved ones, friends, and family members know about it so that they can all actually partake in that beautiful, awesome transaction when it comes to using Startup Sense. With that being said, we're gonna go back to Phil to dissect the aspect of being an entrepreneur and also what it takes to be one, because one major school of thought that most people have is the fact that you need money to make money, and also you need money to start something like a startup money for a business. But Phil is here to actually let us know there are so many ways to get money without even starting with money. Though it may not necessarily be money, but it might involve your time and a little bit skill set for you to get that taken care of. So with that being said, Phil, please walk us through the process and how best we can make this happen. I know that's the topic, but before we go deep into that, I want us to discuss a couple things and just see how best we can, all fall through with that. So can you just give us your complete overview in terms of business structure and business environment in Ghana? And before you answer that question, just tell us a little bit about yourself. And if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about that magnificent building behind you. I don't know if you're standing in front of the building right now or you're just having a, a virtual standing. But tell us a little bit about yourself for the purpose of those who don't know you and for the first time watching you, and then answer the question in terms of the complete overview of business structure and business environment in Ghana.
All right, thank you very much, PK, and thank you to HRE-TV and TapTapSend for having such a segment. I am on the page where we vote on topics to be discussed, and I saw how overwhelmingly this topic won, which tells the interest that people have in this issue. And one thing I've also noticed is that anytime we're talking about issues relating to Ghana, the attendance and the vote is really high. So it can tell you that most of us have that interest in our beloved country despite the challenges that we have. So now a bit about myself. I am Philip Ofori-Yentumi. I am a healthcare provider. So I'm a psychiatric practitioner. I work in an inpatient psychiatric hospital. I also do outpatient and other healthcare related services. I'm also someone who loves business. So I am an entrepreneur or healthpreneur or whichever we want to put it, but mine really expands beyond healthcare. So I love businesses. I'm a student of business. So I keep learning. I keep trying to find ways to make it easier. And I was having a conversation with someone today, and I did make the point that we always have to find the code, right? So wherever they are making the greatest sources from, we have to get there and then also tap in and get what belongs to us fairly. So I am one that's always learning, open to new ideas. So if you have any, please, you can get my information and then we can always discuss. I also don't mind sharing at all. So if you ever need anything that I can help with, I'll be more than glad to. And finally, I'm also one that is keen on relationships. I always tell people it's relationship before transaction, because I personally believe that the most expensive currency right now is your people currency, right? Who you know, who knows you. because I would know quite a few people who do not know me, so the impact is not the same. So whom you know and then who also knows you, and who will mention your name in the rooms where you cannot have access to. These are very important. So those are certain things that I'm really keen in. I do have businesses both here in the States and in Ghana. So I work across the globe. Finally, on this one, on my introduction is I'm also a member of the Chartered Institute of Marketing UK. So we have a motto, and this is why I added that part. We have a motto which says that the world is our market. So no matter where you are, no matter where you find yourself, how comfortable you think you are, investment has no boundaries and has no limits. So please look outside your comfort zone and then look for other opportunities that you can tap into and then expand your horizon. Your wealth cannot be determined by one geographical location. I don't know anyone that is wealthy, though Amazon is an American company. It's not solely based in America. So I don't know one wealthy person that is strictly operating in one geographical location. Warren Buffett does stocks and shares and all of that, but has businesses also outside the shores. So look into it, think about it. Anyone at all that you know, you realize that it cuts across geographical locations. So it's very important. Those are some of the things I'm learning and I wanted to also mention during this presentation. PK, you asked the question if I'm standing in front of this nice edifice. Not yet. Not yet. So this is the rendition of the project that we are currently working on. We started mid last month is when we cleared the ground and everything. Hopefully in July, I'll be in Ghana. So if we're happy to have a show around that time, yes, I will be in front of the building with the structure up. The plan is to have the first one completed by December, ready to move in. Fortunately, that one is bought, so we are on track for that. There are 3 more or so. If you are interested in owning a property in Ghana, you can please get in touch with me and we can sell one for you. It's 4 bedrooms, helpers quarters. It comes with all the bells and whistles that you need in a prime location. So that is on that property. All right. We also do have short stays available in Ghana, East Legon Hills, and Pokwase, among other locations, including Nigeria. So if you are interested, please, or if you know anyone going to Ghana, as I mentioned, the people that mentions your names in the rooms that you cannot be available in, please mention our names to them so that they can book through us. Thank you.
Thank you for that breakdown, and also it kind of alluded to the grounds of our commercial from the beginning of the show when I was talking about Philgood Homes. So yes, if you're looking for Philgood Homes, the 513-372-5758 number, that is him. And not just for that, it even has to do with mental health. You can still contact Dr. Phil and just make your way through with that, and also with the Oswald Wellness as well. He can get you through the right space. So to the question, giving us the complete overview of business structure in Ghana, and like especially with the environment, what are some of the businesses that are going on in Ghana that we can look into? Just the structure for now.
So there are sure. There are a ton of businesses and business opportunities, right? So I always say this: developing countries provides more opportunities than developed countries, because in developed countries, most of the things are done. That is why it's called developed country. In developing countries, the opportunities for you to shape and be part of the agenda of how the country is developing and which direction is taking. So there are a ton of opportunities. You think about it, it's there. Let me also mention this, talking about think about it. Anything at all that ever comes to your mind, note this, is come to the mind of so many other people. It is whoever executes first. So speed is of importance when you're doing business, right? For you to be a pace setter, a market leader, and all of that, speed is of importance. But when you're going fast, there are other factors that also comes to play. So if you don't have the other factors, such as the knowledge and the help, all of that, then you don't want to go fast. So in saying that speed is of importance, does not mean that you have to go fast blindly. But the point I'm making is this: anything at all that ever comes to your mind has come to the mind of too many other people. And that is why you realize that, oh man, I want to do this. And then in 3 months' time, it's already on the market. And they're like, oh man, I just thought about it. Yeah, he gave it to you and then also gave it to others. It's up to whoever wants it so bad and whoever is going to act on it. So it is very important. Anytime you think about something, just remember, it's also available to others. So in terms of opportunities, think about it. Where do I even start from? There are opportunities in agriculture. So let me give you this foundation. A friend of mine told me this. There are certain businesses that you always want to invest in. So let me start with that. One is healthcare. Someone will always be sick, right? So you always want to invest in healthcare. 2 is accommodation, because we will always need somewhere to lay our heads. So that is another business also. 3 is agriculture, because we will always eat. 4 is education, because education is the key, right? So always think about these sectors. Anything at all in between is very important. So let's say education. I don't have the money right now to build the infrastructure and all of that. But maybe what I do have is a platform where I can educate people on a subject, right? So Khan Academy does not have a classroom block in my state or my city, but then they educate people in my city, right? So if there are any topics or any subjects of interest and that you're very good at, why don't you look at a similar way of teaching people in Ghana? So at first we used to go for private classes. And then later on, the teachers were coming to our homes. For those of you who grew up in Ghana, you may be familiar with what I'm talking about. Unless you went to Saito and didn't have much opportunities as I did. But most people, actually, I did have that opportunity. Let me be thankful to my parents, where we had private teachers coming to the home to teach us, right? So at first we used to go. Now they were coming to the home. Now technology, so it's advanced to online. So I don't need a classroom to be able to teach or to be able to impact. Once again, education, textbooks, right? You may be very good at one subject. You could write a book on it, and then how you sell, there's gazillion ways of selling it. How you advertise, there are a million ways of advertising it. So I cannot get into the details of how to run one business, but I'm just trying to provide the overview so that you can fit yourself somewhere in between. So that is one thing when it comes to education. If you want to look at food, right, the food chain, you can start from either the growing, the processing, the marketing, distribution, and then its consumption. So it is a variety, wide range. Where do you want to start from, right? What else do you want to do? Like anything at all that you can think of. In most cases, you don't even have to be present, but certain factors also have to be in play. So these are some of the opportunities available to us in Ghana. And also, if you are of a Ghanaian descent or you have a Ghanaian book, right, or the card, then you have added advantage, because there are certain things that the Ghanaians do have more advantage than foreigners investing in the country. But let me quickly add, if we have the Asians mostly and Europeans and now the North Americans trooping into Ghana with no association to the land and making millions of dollars or millions of cedis and repatriating it back to their country, I think we also have to go take our share. All right.
All right. So I think you just, probably, delve into my second question, but because I was going to ask you some, 5 or 4 top businesses that you people can invest in after knowing the structure, but you already got into it. So now looking at virtual jobs that you can do, you did talk about teaching, Are there any other jobs that you can actually do virtually without physically being there in Ghana to run it? I mean,
Yeah.
maybe four eye-catching jobs that can be, really ventured into.
Okay. So virtual jobs, let me start with those that I'm very familiar with and close to being in it. So one, I already mentioned education, so we can take that one off. Two, there's virtual farming, right? I think I forgot his name. The gentleman that came and then spoke about the poultry and various forms of farming in
I
Ghana.
think his name was Sam. I believe. If I'm about, can you type his name in there, and maybe his
Yeah.
number to just so that people can contact him just in case they're also interested.
So yeah, Sam came, did a couple of presentations on farming in Ghana, and he did talk about virtual farming. You don't have to be present, you just have to invest, and then he will do everything. You have access to it, you monitor on a daily basis or whatever the schedule is, and then you know what is going on. So that is also pretty easy. The other one also is arbitrage, right? Rental arbitrage. So it's done here in the States most of the time. The only thing is if you are renting the property, please let the owner of the property know that this is your intent. So what am I talking about? It is where I don't own the property. I do rent it, and then I will sublease it. So in subleasing, there are different forms. Either you do have a good deal from Philgood Homes, and then you rent a property for, let's say, $500 a month. But then you do know that you can have some other people that you can rent it to for $600, $700 a month. You do that, no problem, right? Or you can also sublease it on a short term. So either nightly rates or minimum of 3 nights, whatever you want to do. So you can also do that. So you can do rent arbitrage and then still make money. In most cases, you don't have to be present because if you do establish the systems down, right, in Ghana, you don't have to be present. You just manage everything online and then you take care of it. Another thing also is there's a lot of startups in Ghana, right? But then most of us are not present. And this is something I think is the lowest hanging fruit that I really want someone to get into. I don't have the knowledge, the capacity, and the time to do it. But most of us outside the country wants to know what is going on with our businesses on a regular basis in Ghana, right? Have you thought about a platform that you can provide these individuals where whoever is managing the business locally can enter all the information and the one outside can see in real time? That is very efficient. So it could include inventory, accounting, sales, all of that in real time. So as the business owner, we do have a shop in Ghana. What I do is I did have a system where anytime I buy, I enter all the information of the things that we bought. I've shipped it on this day, it's going to arrive. Once it arrives, it's cleared, it gets to the shop, then it activates. These are the things in the shop, right? And then I do see anytime it's going down, when it's out, I do see that. But then this is something that most people do not have and most people do not have access to. The other thing is simple accounting system, where I can tell on a regular basis how much is sold, how much is left, and all of that. There are some softwares that provide these services. I don't know if I want to be mentioning names of all of these.
I mean, that's fine.
That's fine. Okay, so let's say, example, QuickBooks, right? Do have a system in place. But then there's so much in QuickBooks that we don't use. Most or the average Ghanaian business person would not use. So can you just do something that is tailored to the needs of that business or the average Ghanaian business so that you have a larger market share? And then in doing that, because you understand the Ghanaian context and the need of a Ghanaian or someone who owns a business in Ghana but outside the country, you can be more tailored made and then your prices may be cheaper. Think about it, right? So, somebody said, "What do you mean about startups?" So,
No,
business that are
we're gonna go into the questions, later. So
okay.
yeah, just keep giving
So,
us so that once we run into the question, we're just gonna give all the questions through. Because I don't want to
gotcha.
take someone's question and miss the other person's question.
Okay, all right. So, businesses that are starting or businesses that have been in operation for some time now, that needs some services to help them run more efficiently and effectively. So you can look into stuff like that, right? So I already mentioned about what for now. Do you need more?
I mean, if
Uh,
there's more, you can add it. It doesn't hurt when it's more.
Definitely. So the other thing also is consultancy. With the introduction of everything on Zoom now, everything electronic now, you can easily provide consultancy services without ever being in the country. You finish your invoice, they pay you.
So you provide consultancy based on your field of expertise, and
Expertise,
just
correct.
market yourself out there. Let people know, hey, they can contact you concerning maybe whatever your field of expertise in, and then you just basically talk to them about it and help them transfer them from one point to another point with the margins that you have. Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. All right. With that being said, now let's kind of box into the topic for today. One is broke, but wants to start a business. And man, this just alludes into the topic itself because having a consultancy job, you don't necessarily need money to start with that because you contact me, we talk, then I start getting paid. Then I can start looking about getting an office because right now I don't need an office. Like you said, you can use Zoom. Have just all you need is a Zoom account, and just schedule appointments with people and just talk to them. And as things get better, you just get in their faces and just start. So walk us through that. How can one start a business with nothing or minimum to expand, and also give us some of the names of the businesses that can be started in that way?
Okay. So I did give some answer away, right? But then I'm going to ask again. In your opinion, what do you think you really need to start business? Anyone. You can just type it. Please don't mute yet. Just type it. What do you think you really need to start business? PK, what did you say?
Skill.
Okay. In most cases, people will say money. In most cases.
But you can have money if you don't have the skill, then you wouldn't know how to go about it. Or
true, but then I've also heard people say that if I have the money, I'll employ the right people.
And if you employ the right people, then you have no idea what they're doing, then that's how you get ripped off.
Exactly. So those are some of the things that I just wanted to bring to the forefront, right? You need idea, you need discipline, you need connection, you need capital. Okay. So now let me read something. For those of you who are Christians on here, you may have come across this, and this is part of why most of us are broke, right? So now, when you look at Luke chapter 14, verse 28, Luke 14, 28, and Jesus was talking about the cost of discipleship, and he did make an example. For which of you desiring to build a tower does not first sit down and calculate the count, sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it, right? So which of you desiring to build a tower does not sit down and count the cost? So now that cost part, people interpret it to be money. So most people will be like, oh, I don't have the money, or I don't have the money to complete the project, or I don't have the money for this project. That is fair. I can understand that because we have a lot of uncompleted houses in Ghana. So I can see where one is coming from. And then we also have a lot of ideas and stuff like that that we don't have enough money to complete. Therefore, we don't start. So let me put it to you that money is the last thing that you need to do anything in terms of business. Money is the last thing that you need. Okay.
Well, I'm glad that you specified that to do it. When you said to do anything, then it was like in terms of business, because you need money to do love, or to translate love. So don't just make a blanket statement and have people hang me for that. Sure. Though back in the days, no, you don't need money, but now you need money.
If you will laugh, if you don't have money, there are other ways you can still translate your love. But now let's get info.
What a producer? Producer say he need to buy you. So let me translate to English. The producer said, when the poor loves his child, you cannot easily recognize that because there's nothing to show.
Okay. So now this is what I mean by money is the last thing that you need.
In business.
In business. Actually, I don't say you don't need it, but I'm saying it's the last thing that you need, right? And actually, not just in business, but for the purposes of this conversation, let's keep it to business, right? And this is what I mean. Relationship is the first thing that you need. And I mentioned earlier, who you know, who knows you. And why am I saying relationship is the first thing that you need? If I do have the right relationship, and I do know the right people to connect with, I can easily get access and things that people will pay for, and I'll get it for free. That is one. Two, with my relationship, I will know those in my network and the strength of all of them, and I can deploy them effectively. I am not using them. Please, I'm choosing my words carefully. I am not using them, but I'm deploying their resources and expertise effectively to where I can have maximum results. So, example, I know PK. PK is the media guy, right? In my friends, PK is the media guy. In my friends, in the circle of my friends, I have one who is the numbers guy. In the circle of my friends, I have one who is into business. It's like, you just call him anytime, talk about any business. He doesn't have any idea, but he can still give you a very good direction. He's just that good, right? Among my friends, I have one in Ghana who works at the Ministry of Trade. I know what to call him for. I know one that works at the Ministry of, he's an immigration officer. I know what to call him for. I know one that works at GRA. If I have tax issues, I know who to call. So I'm not going to call the wrong person seeking for another information. So just because I have sat and taken the time to really identify what each person is good at, not necessarily where they work, but what they are very good at, that alone saves me a lot of money. Because in this case, I can just be like, oh, Sewa, can you please get me information on this? She knows exactly who to call, where to go and get me the information. Chief, I don't have to pay for it. So that alone saves me a lot. When it says that the person has to calculate the cost, I strongly believe it is the tangible and intangible cost. Because I want to build this project, 4 units of these projects, right? I need to know how much it's going to cost me, but I don't need to have the money. I need to know how to find the money. So now I need to know which contractor can deliver on time and quality. I need to know how to get in touch with the right vendors. I need to know how to manage these vendors, especially since I'm away. So these are more important than me having a couple of thousands of dollars in my account and going to start the structure. Once I do have all of this information, then I can safely and easily deploy the right resources, and in some cases, maybe not put much on the table or don't put anything at all on the table. Right? So that is how you get into it. And let me give you a couple of examples. You live in the States. Somebody lives in Ghana. They are very good when it comes to fine arts. They do this sculpture and they do it so nicely. They sew and it's so beautiful. Between the years of 2019 and even now, anything at all from Ghana has become a hot commodity on any platform. Etsy, Facebook Marketplace, wherever, right? How many things did you sell within this period?
0.
Okay, that is the problem. And let me tell you what, because of the good books also says that good name is better than riches. If you have good name and you have a good reputation, you can go to this vendor and be like, okay, you sew for me all the time. This is what I want you to do. This fabric, it has to be colorful and all that. I want you to sew maybe 5 of it for me, right? And then before you even bring it, what you can do is always test the market. Is there a need for it? You post it on your WhatsApp status, Facebook, and then, hey, I have this. If you're interested, pre-order. And then look at the response. That response will help you adjust the style, the texture, the color pattern, whatever it is, right? Those responses will help you adjust all of that. And then you take the pre-order. Once you take the pre-order, you have it done. In that case, for you to pre-order, you have to pay maybe 20% or whatever percentage you didn't pay. So you take that percentage, you give it to the seamstress or whoever is engaging in doing it. And then that person does it. You get somebody come in, they bring it, and then you give it to the individuals, you take your other percentage. Your margin, you put it back into it. So you keep doing it. By the time you know, you are known for the best shea butter in your city, in US or whatever, right? So it's that simple. You don't have to put any money down or you have to put very minimal. What are you very good at selling? For me, when I sell cars, people don't buy. I don't know why. Like, I know somebody that will sell cars in a heartbeat, like he doesn't have to work too hard on it. But then I can sell too many things, but not a car. So if you give me a car to sell, you just come and take your thing as it is. But then when it comes to selling products also, I can sell easier than other products. So you have to identify your strengths. Do you understand the product very well to where you can convince people or tell people about the value? People pay value, they don't pay just for substance, right? About the value. And then they'll give you the money for it. So if so, then easily you can do that. Let me give you another example because I want to talk, I want to be real. I sold apartments for a couple of people. I sold lands for people. I've sold houses, a house, but then I've sold apartments, lands, and then a house for different people. I didn't have any margins on it though. Let me just put that out there. But when I was doing that to learn a couple of things. One, what I'm good at selling. Two, how the market responds. So now, before I started doing my Airbnb or short stay, I already knew how the market was. I already knew what period people were going. I already knew how they were renting it for. I already knew some of the ins and outs, right? So when I started my business, in the first 3 months, we were up and running, like full speed. But then when I started it, or when I was doing all of that for people, I wasn't asking for money. Some were grateful enough to grace me with some cash, which is good, right? So starting without anything, I built the reputation of the real estate guy in Ghana who lives outside Ghana before I even started into real estate. So it is very important. Identify what you want to do, starting it. And I mentioned relationship before transaction. If all that you do is transactional, people will always deal with you just on transactional basis. You charge me, I pay, we move on. Problem no day. But then if it's based on real relationship, then I know that, okay, your value is beyond $1. Therefore, I can pay you much more than you could have charged me for. Right? So that is a deeper thing that I can explain if we need to.
But you see, being relational with people than transactional, no, theoretically, it looks good and it goes a long way. But realistically, no, people will take advantage. Some people might take advantage of you. That's what a lot of people. Yeah. So that's what a lot of people will. Somebody might also say, "Hey, I tried that; it didn't work." That is why I'm transactional with people. So how can one still maneuver through being transactional?
Okay. So now let me state this fact: if you are not used, you cannot use. So you have to be used at some point, right? So now, in you being used, what lessons are you learning? It's not the lessons of Nipa and yet, like human beings are bad. Those are not the necessarily lessons. But the important lessons are the time I was being used, I did learn how to transact business. I did learn how to relate with people. I did learn how to manage difficult customers. I did learn how to trade, right? Or how to move these goods from X to Z. In some cases, also, you think that you are being used, but you never know the reward that person that is using you has for you. In some cases, there will never be any reward. I gotta admit, they'll just use and abuse and dump. It is fine, but learn the lessons that you went in there for. For me, that is my takeaway. So yes, for us to be used, it is perfectly fine. It is perfectly 100%. Don't take it personal. You're not the only one. You're not being the last. But what are the lessons you learn in there for yourself, for which you can also use to advance yourself? That is the important part.
Okay. All right. Do you want us to proceed, or now you still have some more to go?
Oh no, if you have any questions, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be reading the questions very soon, probably like in the next 13 minutes. I'm gonna be reading all the questions. So please do not stop bringing your questions. We're gonna have time to answer because we have to 7:30. So I'm gonna be reading all the questions. Well, there are some types of low budget jobs, businesses, right? And there are a lot of people who want to really still we try to find out what are some of the specific jobs apart from the consultancy that you mentioned. What are some of the jobs that I can really be a part of or do that can really make me start earning money without no or minimum money? I know the last time you were here, you were talking about real estate in Ghana, or real estate business in Ghana. You mentioned about somebody being, when people hear real estate, all they hear is building, building houses, apartments, and just giving them out for Airbnb. But there's so many different types of involvement so far as the real estate business is concerned. Example, people that even stand in front of buildings and market the buildings. Those are all part of the real estate fraternity. So for example, those people that be talking about those buildings, like, hey, I saw this house is going for $200,000, 4 bedroom, and do all those big words just to confuse you when they get to the bathroom, like Italian marble, granite. Like, dude, just say there's a granite. Italian marble, granite, 1964, wooden text, like those people. Not to, shade them or anything, but I love the way they use the big words to confuse us for us to just go buy the house. And are those some of the jobs that people can do? Can it be done virtually whilst you have the house and you're still talking about it? Can people in America, in the diaspora, can they start doing something like that and try to, get some? Because I bet you there are a lot of people that are watching us right now that are very good talkers, very good communicators, very, very good brand ambassadors, but they probably don't even know that they have that talent within them. But with this, can somebody just come to Philgood and be like, hey, Philgood, I want to market all your houses for you based on commission basis. And if I make this is how much I get. I'm not putting anything in there. Philgood has his homes. And I'm just, talking about it with the virtual, pictures that I have. Is that something that can yield people money? And what are some of the other things that can help? Walk us through that process for us.
Yeah, definitely can. Some of the ways in terms of real estate, I think the last 2 shows that I did on real estate, I did mention some of the avenues. So one is you could get into warehousing, right?
Real estate
it's cheaper to build a warehouse. Yeah, it's cheaper to build a warehouse than to. Oh yeah, it's a good thing too. I have a couple of businesses where it's not mine though. Like I know a couple of businesses where what they do is they rent the warehouse space and then they use it. So you can just build also for specific needs. So for corn, it has to be under certain temperature, humidity, and all of that. So you can build a silo just for that, and then it has to be.
Wouldn't that fall under farming? Is that also part of real estate, or it kind of like breaks?
Yeah. Because in this case, I'm not really doing the whole farming thing, right? I'm just doing the infrastructure.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not doing feed. I'm doing infrastructure where you just store your
And you rent to
maize.
the people that work on the feed.
You rent to the people.
Got you. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm just providing the infrastructure, and then somebody will rent, and then they just keep it in there, right? Or I can also then do backward integration where I will do the structure, and then I'll go buy from the farm people and then come and store it myself. And then during lean season, I will sell. Right? At that point, you're being part of the ecosystem of the value chain. So you can do that. The other thing also is, I always ask the question, when are you going to share what your friend is selling? What do you lose by sharing it on Facebook, WhatsApp status, all of that? In so doing, you probably realize that there are more people in your network that needs a service or a product that your friend is selling than you think. So if you're able to do that and then you realize that, oh, my guy, I've sold 2, 3 for you, or even the first one. Some people come to me off the back. Hey, I want to help you sell this. What will be my percentage? Or if I bring you clients for your short stay, how much are you going to give me in it? Then we just strike a deal, we go on, right? I don't have a problem with that. And most people don't. It's business, no problem. I also have too many people that will just see it posted on my status or on my Facebook, and then they'll just share, right? It's fair. But the point I'm making is this. Once you realize that, okay, there's business coming off it, then at that point you come to the table and you have a better bargaining power after you have done 1 or 2, and then you have a proof. So, hey, I have this person that rented from you. I have this person that wants to buy, or this person bought. Can I get like 2%, 1%, right? So now look at it. If you sell 100,000, what is 1%? And then consider the cost. If you do 5%, what is 5%? Consider your cost. So your only cost is probably you shared it and then answer 1 or 2 few questions, and then you easily pick up $5,000.
Okay, so let's take it from here. So let's say, for instance, right, the house behind you, how much is it?
So
give me an estimate.
230.
Okay, so 230. If somebody helps you sell this house, one of this house, let's say, what are your percentage that you work with people, if you have one?
5.
5%. Let's do the math of 5%. Or do you know on top of your head what 5% of 230 is?
No, do the math. I want you to also work.
I think 2,300 probably divided by 2. That'd be 1,000. That'd be 1,250. Or 1,150. 1,150. I believe that is 5% of 230,000.
10% is 23. So,
yeah, so
5% will be 13 points.
So 1350 rather. Okay. So if somebody is getting 13,500 if they help sell this house.
Yeah.
So that means that can be a startup venture for me. Startup capital for my venture.
Let me even blow your mind. So you do 13,000, right? In one sale.
Mm-hmm.
That 13,000, you can use it to rent an apartment in a very good location for 1 year.
Mm-hmm,
right?
And rent it out and Airbnb out.
Sharp. So how much was your capital?
0.
That easy.
Okay. So now that we have, let's say for instance, I'm not a real estate guy, but I know people that wants to buy houses, right? And I'm able to get somebody to buy a house from you. With that being said, I'm not a real estate guy. What can I use that 13,500 apart from renting an apartment? Is there any other businesses that I can elude that money to be able to fetch me money? More money.
At that point, you get into like a whole range, right? For 13,500 to do a business.
No, just give us about three or four different jobs that you can really make money off as a startup capital with 13,500. Hey, Patrick, grab it to me on. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yes, with Sam, when he came, he did mention that with 100,000, you get 50,000 at the end of the year, right?
100,000 cities.
Interest.
50, yes.
Yeah, 100,000 cities.
That's about $5,000 to $6,000. About $5,000 to $6,000.
So if you go 200,000, that is about $12,000, right?
Yes.
So you can easily go 200,000 and then get 100,000 at the end of the year. You still sit it back, enjoy it. So throughout this process, from both selling and then also investing in the virtual farm, you still haven't moved a needle. You haven't evolved the dime of yours.
So based on what you just said right now, I just want to put you this number up. So this is Philgood's number. Please pick this number and try to sell one of the house and get 30,500. Do we type with that upset also get a share
Don't worry.
of the 30,000? Obiabe didi peche. That is the tree word for you get ka. Obiabe didi peche. So wow, I think this is a great way to even start. I mean, this topic came handy with the right person. So and you said it's 4 houses and 1 is sold. So you still got 3 remaining, right? So if any of our viewers, I just want to hold you by your words. If any of our viewers are able to get you a buyer with a signed contract, with a deposit and everything, do they get do they get a 13.5 right away, or they have to wait till the person pay the money in 2-3 years? Because I think your payment plan was 2-3 years, right?
Yeah, so we have different payment plans. The longer the payment, if it's 3 years, it's 250. If it's 2 years, it's 230. So we prefer the 2 years though. That if you want to do it in a year, no problem. We can cut down the price and still do a year. Yes. So you get your cut at the end, because this is why there is a fixed non-refundable fee of $5,000, which for the registration documents and all of that, right? So for that, and I give you your 12,000 or 13,000, right? And then the person comes back and be like, "Oh, I don't want it." The only thing that I get is the 5,000, which is used for the process.
But you lost 13,000.
I'm already giving you 13. I can't chase you for that.
But how about you make it this way? If it's a 3-year contract, right? Every year, the commissioner gets basically
we can work it out,
one third of the money. That way, because if I'm also waiting on 13,000, let's say 13,000, maybe 3,500 or let's say $4,000, right, a year. If I'm getting 4,000, that can be a startup business for me. Once I'm waiting on my other 4,000 to go through, and maybe I can will it to my kids that hey, Dr. Phil owes me, in case everything goes through, he owes me $8,000 down the line. Well, let's go to the questions of our viewers and just take it from there. Unless you want to answer real quick. Go ahead.
As I mentioned, relationship before transaction. Mm-hmm. If I owe you don't have to look for me. I'll find you.
Okay. But that is you though. But we know a lot of Ghanaians, we have to chase them
in this case, I'm talking about me.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. All right. So let's go to the question that you were about to answer, and that was going to be our first question. Actually, before that, our sister Kusia Aka said good information, and also, yes, she said good information, and also Bambi posted your number again, 513-372-5758. I can also put a Ghana one, +233-208-149-504. Contact Dr. Phil. Today we'll call him Philgood. So Philgood Homes today. He'll be Dr. Phil when he's on his psych side. So let's do Philgood Homes today, so that the name Philgood Homes can be a registered home name. Kwame Odro Konto, that is Impenyufo Dimpa, and that's Big Ben's name, says, are you into startup capital venture?
No,
first of all, for those of us that are laymen, can you just explain what a startup capital venture is? Then also, if you're into it.
So capital venture is like those that raise money for businesses, right?
Oh, like Renac 40. Okay. Or
you have small businesses and then you raise capital, right? So those are venture capitalists. No, I'm not one. I raise capital for my business, right? And by raising the capital, I just sell.
Okay. And I think, this beautiful response. So it kind of alluded into Gloria's question. What do you mean by startups? So you just explained that. Gloria says, and can you please provide examples of these softwares? I think you did mention one, QuickBooks, right? Yeah. Or is that a different software she's talking about?
Yeah, okay. That comment came around that discussion. So yes, an example is QuickBooks. So
she said mention them. She mentioned them. She missed it. I think it was QuickBooks and what else?
So QuickBooks is one. You can generate your own. But then the simplest thing, right, which you think is, everybody knows how to do it, is Google Doc. Not everybody knows how to do it. Mm-hmm. Right? So you can just do Google Doc, Excel, Google Doc, and then once it's entered, it's seen, you just, customize it to the needs of the business, and then you already have a software.
Okay. I realize you were trying to add something to it, but let me go ahead and just basically throw this in there real quick. So Benson Sena Dumoga says money and skill. Remember, you were asking before you start any business, what are the things that you need?
Yeah.
And he's talking about money and skill. Benson, I totally agree with you with the skill part. Then King Henry says capital. Then HRETV says connection. I think producer said that. Connection. Connection is very, very important too. It's very, very important too. So that is wow. I didn't even think about this. Eugene Gideon. Kojo Asari says discipline.
Yeah,
Discipline.
100%.
How does the discipline plays a role? Is it discipline of how much you're gonna use, or discipline of you just sticking your mind to it and staying by your plan?
Okay, so it starts from the inception of the plan to the execution, evaluation, and all of that. So let me give you an example. I wanted to build my first apartment. So I had to be very disciplined to the plan and make sure that I was not doing certain things that I would have regularly done. I had to stay very disciplined to make sure that I was cutting down on certain things. And I always tell people, not everybody is built for that. So to the extent where you have to make a lot of sacrifices, let me put it that way. It's all part of the discipline. Please, if you just took the number and calling me, we're still on the show. So I'll call you back.
Just message him your name and let him know it's about that, and he'll just give you a call so that he doesn't think it was a spam. So just message him. That way he gets to call you back.
So that is where the discipline starts from, right? Discipline with your finances, discipline in staying true to the course, discipline in terms of staying focused, discipline in terms of making sure you have the right tools, resources, and all of that. Right. So
because I think what I kind of get from this is you probably can start an apartment saying that, hey, I'm gonna have an apartment with no pool. Then in the course of it, you already budgeted for this. In the course of I want to add a pool to it. Then the pool comes into play. Then in the course of it, I want to add a gym to it, because now everybody with an apartment that has a gym is selling more. So now you want to add a gym to it. Then it's like you never get to finish the apartment. You keep running the apartment, like you keep building the apartment without ever finishing timeline.
Right, and the other thing also is there's always things that will come in place where you need other resources for. So if you're going to divert the resource for the business that you want to start, it's just like eating your eggs before they hatch, right?
Hatched.
Just like eating your eggs before they hatch. So if you continue doing that, then you're not going to have chicks to be able to produce your poultry farm that you need.
Okay.
So you might be hungry, but if you want to eat the egg,
makes sense. Kwekwasari says idea, and I think that is when you said having the inception that you want to go into it and what you want to go to. And Francis Ofori comes to say the same thing as idea. Damali Ekwamwa. Wow, please forgive me if I butchered your name. Let me use the second part. Feel blissful wellness says experience and discipline. So the discipline is coming again. Okay, so that kind of concludes the question, because you threw the question to the people and they were answering them. So that kind of concludes that part. You wanted to add something to it if you want to go ahead before we go to the rest of the questions.
No, I'll just explain the discipline part.
No, before the discipline, you were about to say something. So let me go ahead and read all the questions that the answers that people had for your question that you threw to them earlier.
Most likely I already talked about it.
Okay, cool. So then let's keep going with the questions then. Benson Sena Dumoga says, do you need to register your consultancy firm before started? Before backdoor start, you and register.
You see, so this is a very huge platform. So we gotta do things the right way. So yes, you have to register first. But here's the thing. If I'm dealing with you that I don't need registration to get my money, why do I register? Let those who have ears.
Because I
listen
think we
to
always
it.
do consultancy every day. Because right now you're actually giving us a consultancy right now, and you're not getting paid for it. We are getting it for free. Thanks to Tata said.
Yeah,
All right.
so I don't.
That question is answered. Kwabena Odro Konto says we'll need a water bottle filling equipment costing about $85,000. How do I get the seed money? Oh, like those with the water companies.
The
$85,000.
bottle water company, right?
Yeah. Then you have to
So
buy
how you
yourself
get the seed
about
money?
10 field goal homes.
No, how you get the money? There are various ways. It will be difficult to provide you like a very good answer on here because I don't know all your resources available to you. I don't know all your options. So it will be very difficult.
Do you
To be
do
sincere.
consultancy though? Because right now it looks like people may have personal questions for you. Do you do consultancies based on
Oh
your
yeah,
availability?
if you call me, yeah, I'll be more than glad to help. As I said,
Okay.
I love to share. So.
So please, not only are you calling to buy houses or stuff like that, you can also call to book a session and just get some consultancy from him as well.
Please just note, I'm on the Eastern time, so be mindful of the time.
Yeah. Please call him 11 p.m. Order by 8 o'clock.
On August, we'll lose your voicemail.
All right. Dameli. Is it Dameli or Damelia? I think it's Dameli. Please forgive me. Dameli says, so we need access through relationship capital. Wow, I never thought about that. I think that's a good word to put it. Relationship capital. Wow.
It's the most expensive.
Yep. Because these days, not even everyone wants to open their doors for you. So if you have some good people in your lives, hold on to them. Docker says, but people in Ghana will never do anything without taking money if you're outside. True. Most people. Let me say most people.
I beg to differ. Yeah, I beg to differ because
that is why I qualified her statement with most people.
Yeah. See, sorry, I missed the name of who made that comment.
Dorcas.
Dorcas, okay. Dorcas is partly true, and this is part of why. Most people is of the opinion that anyone outside has the money. Most people also have been burnt by helping people outside, and even their transportation fare became their own cost. So once again, the relationship. If I believe that this person is of value to me, I never mind doing anything for you for free. And that is the average mindset of the average Ghanaian. But then when it gets to a point where they realize that they're not getting anything out of it, and they don't understand that, okay, probably what they use me for, there's still lessons in there for me to learn. Therefore, my transportation fare and all of that is the school fees I'm paying for it. Then they will demand, right? But let's also be fair to them. Charlie, times are hard. So for some of them, the means to get to the point to where they need to do whatever it is for you is even difficult, right? But they can't tell you that I don't have lorry fare. So then they have to come up with a way to take some money for it. So it could be both ways, but let's understand, if you treat people well, in most cases, they also treat you well. I'm not saying you're not, Dorcas, but I'm just making a general point.
Okay. Kenneth has a good question for you. Philgood, are there any opportunities to collaborate with you on any business ventures you have going on at the moment? Investors. We're not necessarily investors, but maybe you collaborate as in like probably, it's just as like, people helping out and everything, sell the house. So maybe
Chief, just call me whatever idea you have. We can work.
No, but he's talking about with the stuff that you got going on right now. Is there any way people can collaborate with you? Okay.
Yeah, just call me. And then let's know what you bring on the table, and then we can work together.
Gloria says, Mr. Moderator, yes, I think she's talking to me. Can you type some of the responses in the chat? Thank you. Responses as in...
Like, as the questions were coming, we're answering on the side. Really, if the questions were directed to me, it would be difficult for me to be talking and like typing at the same time. So pardon me for that. I could read it.
It's going to be difficult for us to type the responses in the chat whilst we are still trying to flow with the show. And, with those that are watching, it's going to look a little bit... but if anybody else want to take it upon themselves to help us with that, we'll be grateful. But yeah, it's gonna be very hard to keep up with your train of thought. And I think 14168 comes to respond to your previous question that you threw to the entire audience. I think we not had the Zoom yet, but Bambi says, please elaborate. Do you want him to read? Oh, never mind. I think that is what we're talking about. And Gloria says the 13.2. I'm not sure what 13.2 means.
We were doing the math of the 5% of one.
Oh, Gloria, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Charlie, so
No, you go ahead first.
oh yeah. I was the math was too big for me to math it. The math wasn't math it. So yes, I'm even gonna try to look into it, be your chief commissioner, and just start working on the commissions. Yes. So Phil, is there anything else you want to add? At this point we're gonna allow people, if people have questions on Zoom, please put your hands up, your reaction button, and I will mute you for you to actually ask your questions. And whilst we're waiting on that, Phil, if there are any questions that you want to add to it, please do so whilst I go to pull the Facebook and YouTube questions as well.
Okay, so I'm going to try to talk more about some of the opportunities that we can engage in. So I did mention the warehouse. I did mention the virtual farming. You can also get into real estate without being present. Also being a service agent, you could also do that. You could also sell on commission. You could also get into rental, right? I think once again, the last two presentations that we did, I did talk about people that rent like event equipment, right? So like the chairs, the tents, the stuff like that, those don't cost so much. You just have a place that is there are cameras over there where you could monitor when things are in and out. So once they move it, money got to come back. So if I'm renting it for 500 Ghana per night, if you take it out for a night, you should bring me my $500, 500 Ghana. It's that simple, right? So I like this where the math is easier to do. So if I am renting a unit for 2,000 Ghana a month, and then I know it's occupied, I got to get my 2,000 times whatever number of months. It's that simple, right? If I'm renting a tent for X amount, if the tent is not in the warehouse, it's tent 1 times X. That's simple. If you also want to get into transportation, personally, as I said, transportation is something that I personally, in fact, it is stocks, in fact. But I know people that also does it with like no sweat. So if you want to get into transportation, rental business is good. 5-seater SUVs are preferred.
7
if you do saloon. Yeah. So 5-seater, 7-seaters, those are preferred. It moves, right? It moves. So if you want to get into that, that is fair. If you have a reliable person that can also pick people to and from the airport, that is
like
also a
chauffeur.
good business. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially.
There are some people that also goes home. They can't drive in Ghana because you need special skills. So that chauffeur can also take them around at a fee at the end of their stay. That is also doable, right? If you also, once again, in the transportation, and then this one may involve a few, you do, how do they call that? You buy and then they ride it and then they'll pay you. Somebody help me.
Work and pay.
Work and pay.
Work and pay.
Work and pay, yeah, something like that. So you can do work and pay. So let's say if you bought it for 40,000, you give it to them, they do the servicing and all of that, and then they'll pay you, let's say 60,000 at the end of the period, whatever amount you guys agree on. So that is also another one. You can also in the value chain of agriculture, right? There's a lot of products that goes waste on the market, in the farms actually. So you can just add value to those products and then you come and sell them. You give them long shelf life, right? And then you come and sell them. That one is, personally, I'll do that over getting into the bush because with me not being present, a lot can go wrong. But with me being out, if I have the systems in place and everything where I know where to take my goods and services, it's much easier for me to sell.
All right.
And here is the thing.
Go ahead.
Okay, last one. Last one. There is an advantage that you have over someone who is local. This is what I mean. If John Abbey is to go into an office and to try to strike a deal, he'll most likely have it than Yao Ejekum, who is locally based, right? So you can just use your brand, your name, your face, your accent to go get deals.
All right.
And then you have people
take advantage of that. So Nana Akosia Free says, wow, she's blown away with all this information. And 14168 says, I'm inspired. So people are really motivated and enthused and will probably be looking into it. Ken Harry says, bro, I'm coming for percentage. Sharp. So get ready. I think you might end up have to build more houses than just the 4 that you have going on right now. Edwin says
just the beginning.
Edwin says 11.5. Edwin, your math is not mathing. Yes, 13.5. You're also talking about 11.5. Maybe Edwin wants 11.5, 11,500, and that is okay if you want to take less commission too. iPhone says number needed. I'm gonna put the number up again. Just bear with us. Bambi says, do you get discount for full one-time payment for the house? I think full one-time payment for the house. Yes, you still get discount, right? If they buy it outright, you still get your 13,500 is off. As soon as you get your 200 and whatever thousand, my 13.5 or whatever the 5% is coming home with me. All right.
No, I think it means that for the sale price of 230 or 230, depending on the number of years, if I'm to bring in like the full amount, right, would you sell it to me for less? I think that's his point. And definitely
not for the commissioner, right? Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, got you. Yes. Because I think he said the price reduces if you're gonna pay it within a year and if you're gonna pay if you're gonna pay it outright, right? Because it's right now 2 years is 230, you said, and 3 years is 250, right?
Yes.
I think you're a little bit delayed. So Alert says, sorry, bring the number up again. Sharp. And I think Philgood himself just typed the number up. It's 513-372-5758. And again, if you're outside USA, just put +1. So with +1, 513-372-5758. He has all the apartments that you can think of, and also in Ajingano, East Legon Hills, Pokwase, and also those 4 houses in East Legon Hills. Gloria says docs. So I'm thinking Gloria was talking about something. Ale says thanks, Dr. Phil. Francis Offer says, can you please put the number of the gentleman who talked about the poultry farming again? Oba, please, if you're on the show, just help me with that one. Thank you. Benson Sena Dumaga says, before starting a consultancy firm, I think that was about the startup venture that he was talking about earlier. Bernard Nana Benito, original Benito, says greetings to everyone. Then my favorite person for today, Dameli Ekwama, says, thank you for sharing a lot of useful insight for some people, for someone in health and wellness. As a holistic wellness coach, what is the best way to connect with others in Ghana and in the diaspora to provide coaching services as a consultant to help women be healthier? Damali. Oh, so it's Damali. The IE was the one that was confusing me. So it's Damali. Okay, Damali, thank you very much for that information. Before you answer Damali's questions, right? Facebook's Mr. Dr. Nyamiche says, so bro, miss you like crazy. Doc, hope everything is okay. Then Amos Ofosu Bofa Adumowim. Feel good, I salute you, boss. Jeremy Edgar Ofori-Yentumi says, my relatives are rich. I tap into this Yentumi A-class anointing for wealth. Yentumi equals money. And okay, Daniel Opoku Wagon is watching, and Alfebia Chum is also watching. Thank you guys for watching from Facebook. Phil, can you go ahead and answer Demali's question? Then we'll go to the next
so her question is, how do I reach the people in Ghana? I think first of all, let's start with this. What page do you have for your advertisements? You may have a website, which is great, but how quickly can you reach people? So start with an Instagram. Oh, do you know that there are certain products that advertises better on certain social media platforms than others? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there are certain things that will sell better on TikTok than Instagram. Instagram will sell certain things better than Facebook, right? Certain things will sell well on another platform. So identify which platform is best for the products or services that you are rendering, and then target the people on there.
Right.
So in this case, I think Instagram will be a better option, and then TikTok, because Instagram provides more of the pictures, more visual and stuff like that. So do that, run some ads, target, the location that you want people from, and then they will push it to those people for that location. You get referrals from there, and they start providing your services.
Okay. Before we go to the next question, I'd like to take a quick break over here. Not as in going on a commercial break, but I'd like to make a quick announcement. Please, if you are watching us right now, we do have a WhatsApp platform where we discuss topics on these platforms. So we have the HRE TV platform where we discuss topics that we want to hear and treat and discuss on this show every week. We create a poll to discuss those topics, and as well as how people want to, even if you're a resource person or you want to come on board, please make sure that you producers are going to put the link on it, and you're going to just click on it and join. We also have a Startup Send platform where we discuss any issues concerning Startup Send or whatever that you want to talk about concerning Startup Send, the rates, sending issues, whatever. You have quicker and easier access to talk to some of the ambassadors to help get your problem solved as soon as possible, rather than try to go through the hustle yourself. So A-Class and Lord, please place those links on there so that people can click on the links and just join. There's a HRE TV platform, there's a Startup Send platform where we go over there and just make sure the discussions are taken care of. And the Startup Send one is to just talk about the rate and also sending issues, or even you have something great to say about Startup Send, please. That is a good way to put it as well. So once the links come, please click on the links and just take care of whatever that needs to be taken care of, and we will communicate from there. And if you're already on the platform, please share the links as well to your friends and loved ones, and have them join. Or if somebody wants to join, you can. If you're already on and you have my number, just inbox me or the producer or Ba or A-Class, whoever is on it, and just they will get you added to it. Any of the admins, that's what I was trying to say. Any of the admins on it, and you're gonna get added to it. So Phil, Bambi asked the question. I have 10,000 cities. What's your recommendation, please? What can 10,000 cities really get me to multiply?
You see these weaving baskets, right? Mm-hmm. They have it where it comes in smaller, nice sizes where they can put fruits and stuff in. So you can either do that and then sell it. So it's not just that. The point I'm trying to make is some of these little things that you do see on the market. The other thing also is you may have come across something that you think, oh, this thing could need some improvement, right? It's just like, it's there already, but it just could need some improvement. Look for somebody who is into it or who does it. Invest in them. And then some of these things, like those that with the cane stuff, those that sell tomatoes on the street. See, I'm not joking with this one. Look for someone who sells KK. Invest 10,000 in them. And then you see how quickly you get your money back.
Or you can even use that to modify how they sell the kenke, get a better place, a shorter place, change the branding. Man, I'm getting even ideas.
That is all it is. That's all it
is. And just from regular bobo table selling kenke to a modified place, it changed the market audience, it changed the clientele, and also changed the perception people have about the kenke being sold on tables and bobo next to it than the kenke itself sold in sieves and have a nice sitting and eating area.
See, let me give you an example, right? There's this kenke seller around Laboni. Mm-hmm. She's on Google Maps. So accessibility becomes easier.
Yes.
When you get there, you ask yourself,
now you forgot me here, so rest in peace.
I didn't want to mention it. I didn't want to mention it.
Yeah, Antimony, watch it. It's on a table, but there's a Google Map address. It's like, and you see a bunch of line. But yes, if you put in Antimony watch it and you show up, even when they are not working, you don't see anything over there. It's just like a regular street. But the moment you show up on
Yeah.
the time of operation, it's filled up with cars parked all the way down the streets. So yes, I totally
There is
agree
this
with you.
restaurant at after Seko before Accra. There's this restaurant over there. I used to go to a lot. Like you get there and it's like massive queue around lunchtime, right? And then you ask yourself, say, what? It's all about branding. See, get some 1 or 2 people who are good online, go on there. Hey, this is your favorite kenke in Accra or Kilewele, because I do love the Kilewele with the Katia. And then post it, right? Somebody asked, why do they always sell Kilewele at night? Obviously, it's for their before because of that one. But that was just a joke. But then, just put some effort into advertising it, and then you realize it will just sell like that. The power of social media right now is crazy.
Okay.
So just invest in some of these vendors and you blow.
Okay, for the purpose of our time, we're going to run through these questions quick. iPhone says, what's the service agency? I'm not sure if he's talking about your service agency or you mentioned of a service agency that he wants to remember the name. Oba says, must one register their business in order to be fully in order to fully operate in Ghana?
So it depends on what you are doing and the kind of business. But it depends on the kind of business that you're operating and the kind of
answer.
You go explain that.
Yes. No results. Edwin says
no. So,
but yes, you must register your business. You must register your business. Edwin says 5% of 230 is 11.5. No, Edwin, actually the 230 was 250. No, we did it on the 250. The 5%.
So that would even be 12.5.
But Edwin is coming back to confirm the 11.5 was not to short him of the change, but just he made the math. So you are right. You are equally right for that's 3 years for the 11.5. But if you're able to get a person to buy it in 2 years, so when you're marketing the house, make sure you also bargain on the number of years the person can. The shorter it is, the more your money goes up.
And the quicker you get it.
Yes, the quicker you get it too. Kofi says, I want to know more about the virtual farming. Thanks. And Oba will put Sami's number over there and you will see it. Is this in cities? No, the 11.5 you're talking about is not in cities, it's in dollars. Yes, because the house is being sold in dollars. Now, if the house is sold in a conversion of cities, then you get your percentages in cities of 5% of that amount that it was sold. Basically, whatever it was sold in, whatever unit it was sold in, you get 5% of that.
Okay, don't worry, I'll go and sell $1.
Okay. Gloria says, thank you guys. Oh, and A-Class has put in the number there. So A-Class says, Samuel Adedakon Jeffrey. That is Sami's number, his name. And his number is +233 55837 6127. Again, the number is +233 55837 6127. Please contact Sami and let Sami know that you got the information from Time with Tatapsen on HITV. The couple weeks ago that he was on the show, you got the number from that and you want to contact so that he can take more time to hear you out and talk to you. And also, don't forget that he still has a good deal that he gave us. Like, if we are ready for the virtual farming, well, I think 100,000 was the startup price for it. And at the end of the year, after 1 year, not the end of the year, after 1 year of your time of execution, you get 50% of it. A-Class also posted a link to the Tatapsen platform and also the HITV platform. So please, loved ones, click on this link and join and be the first to be notified whenever we go live and also when we discuss topics, as well as you have easy access to all the ambassadors to actually communicate your concerns when it comes to startups. And again, like I said, let's get it straight. The two links, the startups one is to discuss all startups and issues, the good, the bad, the ugly. Talk about it. We have ambassadors there. We have the leaders. The directors are on the platform. They will help solve your issues for you, in a very, very quick way, in a very swift manner. And also the HRTV platform is to discuss the topics that we discuss on the show. And Nana Koshiefria says, and the Kilewele too. Yes. Oba says, must you be in Ghana in order to run the business? How do you find the right people or the right person, honest, reliable people to help? Yes, branding is the word. Wow, Oba just asked a very good question. Feel good. You wanna close it up with Oba's question? I know so that's gonna be a tough one, but um,
No, so the question starts with, must you be in Ghana to run the business? Which business?
mhm,
Most of the ones that I talked about, no, you don't have to be in Ghana. There are some that, yes, you have to. There are some that you may have to be in Ghana at some point, right? To either start, evaluate, see how it's going and all of that, but not 100% run it. Almost everything that I talked about is not 200% run. If you look on social media, especially YouTube, and people talking about Ghana, it's mostly those that relocated to Ghana doing businesses and stuff.
mhm,
My goal is also, I don't have the time though, but if I was to run a YouTube channel, would be
mhm,
to just solely talk about how to run businesses without being in Ghana. Because
mhm,
I don't believe personally that all of us must relocate at the same time. At some point, you have to. But I don't believe that we all have to go at the same time. So, yes, I think there are too many things that you can do without being there. Then comes the second part of the question. How do you find the good people? You got to go through the bad.
You got to go. Why?
You got to go through the bad.
What kind of English is that? Break it
You got
down.
to go through the bad people to find the good people.
Oh,
You should have done it.
into the work out tree more. You change your film as in a consensus your bar.
Yes. So,
Mhm.
about, and I'm being real here. There is no criteria or simple way to finding good people.
You hear what
Because
Tony said? Let me read Tony's comments.
what?
Tony said something. Hold on.
Oh, go through the bag. No, the bad. Um, so one that is very good for I'm trying to look for a name. Frank Obey may not be good for Eunice, right?
Mhm,
Because depending on how Frank relates with the individual and what they need from that person,
mm,
will make that person very good for Frank. But
mhm,
then the way Eunice also relates to that same individual and what they need from that person may make that person very bad for Eunice. So there is no one such criteria or place to go to find the good ones. You
mhm.
have to go through the mill. You have to test the spirits, right? And then in doing so, you find the right team.
All right. Phil, so I want us to do this math real quick because people are interested in the commission math. Then after that, we will just, you're just gonna give us a recap because we have to really close this by 780. So I'm pulling my calculator. Actually, I'll do it on the TatUpSend app. Please, if you have the TatUpSend app right now, please open the app. It's easy. I'll do most of my math over there because it makes my life easier. So if I put in the US dollars for the 231, producer Abuamika Krawa Hawaii. So the 231, the $230,000 house, the producer is laughing at me. Me, I'm serious about the 5%. He's over here laughing at me because he has so much money, he doesn't care. It's 3.5 million. So 3.5 million. 10% of 3.5 million will be 350,000.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Will be 350,000 cities, right?
Mhm.
So 5% is 175 or no, 125.
Mhm.
125,000 cities. Kaish. Sikanapim. And that is what I think. Oh, Money Man as $100,000 or cities. Money Man,
For
where did you get 100,000 from? Money Man, you are the one that threw me off. So again, if it's in cities, the $230,000, it's equivalent to 3.5 million right now and some change on the TataSend app. And if you do $250,000, it's 3.8 million Ghana cities, choppable cities. Let me use Abronya's term, million, 3.8 million cities. And when you do the 10% of that, it will be 380,000 cities of the 10%, and the 5% will be basically Okay, basically, 3 at 1.5 plus 4, 1.9. So it'll be 1.9.
Okay,
190,000 cities.
don't worry. Once
190,000
you're ready,
cities.
we'll do the math. We can't spend too much time on this matter.
Guys, I just want to let you guys know that I'm going for my full commission by next week. So guys, be ready for that. And if you see me with my commission, don't be envious of me. Get yours so that we can all start our startup business. I am interested in the e-farming. I am interested in farming itself. And I think if I'm able to get a startup of even $10,000, I'll be able to start my own poultry, because that is the way to go right now. And we all are looking into it. So
Guys, if you don't know, Pika has been losing sleep over there, so please help him out.
Oh yes, because every day I'm watching videos about poultry. So please, and if you see me in hen coops, yes, mommy fans, because my brother home. With that being said, Philgood, give us recap. I mean, summarize everything. I don't like using your final words, but give us a summary of everything that we talked about.
I'm not going to stop talking.
We'll close it up.
Final words, yes.
Oh, before you go on the final words, please, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget about the links. Please click on the links and join the family and be a part of it. Again, like I said, once we are done, exactly at 3:40, we're going to hand over to the Startup Sen ambassadors, and Uncle Jimmy will run us through the Q&A section. And one of our brothers asked if they can ask a question about Startup Sen, and that is when you're going to be able to ask a question. So please do not leave. Stay tuned once he gives us the summary. Phil.
PK said 3:40. I think he meant 7:40 Eastern time.
So hey, sorry, me.
All right. So quickly. So which means I have 3 minutes. This is all that we're talking about. There's so much that you can do without having all the capital. None of it. All you need is build good relationships. Extremely important. Good relationship. The other thing is look up what OPM means, right? OPM, other people's money. Study so much about it and be able to implement it in various things that you're interested in. Now, please.
The OPM is the one that is making me funny, making me laugh, because OPM in the military is Office of Personal Management. Personnel management. So.
Let me tell you something quick.
So when you said OPM, I was like, what has OPM got to do with this?
I started off in business and then I went into healthcare, right? And then in business, ROI is return on investment. In healthcare, ROI is release of information. So they're like, do we have ROI for this patient? I'm like, how are we having return on investment on this patient? But that's beside the point. So OPM in this case is other people's money, right? Look it up and then see how to really implement it. It's fantastic. The last thing is, what do you have? You can only sell what you have. If you have the connections, it's value. If you have anything in your wallet, Capital One, what do you have in your wallet? But if you have anything at all, that is where you start from. The other thing is, what is of interest to you? I don't have it, but I have keen interest in X, Y, or Z. Start looking into it and then see how you can also make money off it. Now, people will use you for you to gain the experience that you need to use for your gains. Let me repeat that. It just sounded too good to me. People will use you for you to gain the experience that you need to use for your gain. So don't feel bad if you are being used, right? Because that is how you learn. Yeah, in some cases, you even learn on the dime of other people. So the mistakes that they are making with their money and everything, you get to learn it, and you don't repeat it when you get to that point. Now, somebody may use you, never pay you for it, but then you call them, ask them one question, and they'll give you the answer that you could have paid thousands for. So please, the fact that we're not getting monetary return does not mean that we are not gaining. If you even sell the house and you don't get a commission, which I'll give you though. But then now, if you also turn to look for a land in a good place in Accra, I can direct you and then you can save thousands of Ghana cedis or dollars on it, which may be worth more than that. I can help you build. I can give you resource people, vendors, and all of that. But if you do and take the commission, I'll still give you that. So that is not a problem. But I'm just trying to make a good point here, though. Let us not feel that we are always being used. Let's learn the lessons in it and then use it to our gain. Thank you very much for having me.
But Phil, before A-Class signs you out, right? I have a question over here, and before I announce the topic for next week. So someone just tested me this, and the person is asking, I don't have money. Is there any way? I know people that have money, but they don't know what to do with their money. Not necessarily in a bad way, but like they don't know right now what
Yeah.
business to do with their money. Is there any way I can be that guy to put the money together, bring them together, and be like the project manager and just run the business for them and be the front of it? Is that also something good to do if the people trust me to go with it?
Stop. It's the easiest way.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. Do you think the businesses that people have their face to know, all of them is theirs?
Okay.
No, it is because probably I have the know-how.
And
It's
the
because
trust.
probably I have the network.
But you have to be trustworthy to be able to do that.
100%. 100%. That's why you have to build quality relationships.
Okay.
In your relationship, I am Friday night. No. Relationship that can change.
Okay.
Yapo.
All right. So Eunice says, this is my first time here, and besides you guys giving I think she was trying to say, besides you guys giving valuable information, you guys are great with delivery and jokes. Proud Ghanaian here. Because I think she used the word invaluable. So I think she meant to say valuable based on the context of the statement. And thanks for coming. Hope to see you more. She said, thanks for the information. Thanks, Eunice. Oba says, thank you, Philgood. And Oba comes again to says, I will be reaching out for more insights and plan for my business. Philgood, please. And thank you. Obadia, I mean, I see her going to Ghana. I see her going to Ghana, going in front of houses and just promoting those houses, because Oba is a very good talk when it comes to that kind of brand projection. And Henry says, good delivery, Philip. And what's the contact again? 513. Producer is going to put the lower third on it whilst he's getting signed out so that you guys can see those also. But it's 513 513-372-5758. 513-372-5758. The topic for next week, as it stands now, is the dust has settled. What's the update on U.S. immigration? The dust has settled. What's the update on U.S. immigration? That's the topic for next week. A-class, please sign out Philgood as he leaves so that we can proceed to the next segment.
Dr. Phil, thank you very, very much for the in-depth knowledge you've just shared with us. And I'm so glad and happy. So I can see my brother on the other side giving us all these knowledges and stuff with all his empire and businesses on the road there. But one thing I'll tell anybody on this call, pick his number. Someone to say, I'll say, Auton dying, OC dying, and the rest. You can be a virtual agent. So now everything be virtual after COVID. So you can be a virtual agent.
A-class, since you said that, let me ask you a question. Phil, can you do virtual presentation of houses like what was it, like Zoom, and get people together and show them the house? And is that doable? Because A-class just made a point that just took my mind to that. Is that doable?
Oh, definitely.
And people do stuff like that, or maybe you can. Maybe not being here, but you can start.
Yeah. There was no, we can do that. So we have,
because when A-class said it, they hit me when I know that in America here, and Oba will attest to that, when sometimes the realtors do virtual seeing, or what is it called, virtual seeing, right? And they will just go in the house, do video tour, and show people virtual tour. Yes, that's the word. All right, A-class, continue. Thanks for bringing that virtual part up.
Yes, so we had a great number today, and as it is, if you have 2 agents in here and those agents are either by land, trying to promote the land and getting some commission out of it, who knows? That can be your side hustle thing that it will help cushion the pocket, and also it will end up enlightening you in the kind of business you want to venture into it. As he once said, if you are never used, you can never use yourself. So definitely somebody will use you, then you understand. But in this aspect of it, it's good that you've got the advice. So at least it can reduce the rate at which you do the mistakes and here and there. So please, let's try and see how best we can catch up with him and promote it and earn something out of it. And thank you very much, Dr. Phil, for all your time. And anytime I know that anytime that PK call on you, you do not hesitate. You come forth to deliver as well. And thank you very much. Thank you all too for joining and follow it through to now. And really appreciate each and every 1 minute and time is spent on this call. We say God bless you all for staying tuned and hope to see you next week the same time. And don't forget, if you are here on Thursday as well, thank you.
Thank you, A-Class. Thank you very much for the sign up message. At this point, awesome people of Time with Startup Sen right here on HITV. We want to say those of you watching us on Facebook and those of you watching us on YouTube, this is where we draw the curtains. And please join us on Zoom and let's talk about the Q&A session with Startup Sen, where it's run by Uncle Jimmy, and Uncle Jimmy is going to open the floor for people to actually ask questions, and also again, like I said, not only questions but can bring their contributions, the good things that you want to see in startups. And the rate is high now, so if you want to see more stuff, just throw it out there. The leaders are there to listen and also take that into consideration. So please please take advantage of that, and let's take from there. I want to say big thank you to you all on behalf of the team and on behalf of my producers. Thank you. God bless you guys. Those of you for today being your first day coming, please don't let it be your last day. And also keep sharing the word, keep sending the links up to people, and we promise to bring you guys nothing but good stuff. Thank you all. My name remains PK Ofori-Asenso. God bless you all, and see you guys next